Hey there guys, I'm Hello Japan, and welcome to something that I might regret making. I have no idea how I feel about doing this even. So this is Sakura Angels. Now, I'm not a kind of gamer who plays this kind of thing. Now this is what's called a visual novel. And for those of you unfamiliar, those of you watching probably are very familiar though, and you like to watch and play these kind of games. Now there's for a particular reason. You will see that in a second, why they're very popular. But basically, it's dialogue. Now, it's situational dialogue, and you go through the game reading, but there's images and things that go along with in the context of the story that's being told. Now, since I've never played one of these kind of games before, you may have to excuse any accidental clicks, skipping over some dialogue that I'm supposed to read or that the Japanese voice-acted characters are reading. That's just kind of the nature of the beast. I might kind of goof up on that every once in a while, so... Again, pardon that, that's just me not being familiar with this kind of game. So, I think this might be kind of fun. I'm not really too sure. It could be really, really weird. And I'm kind of excited for that. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. So, let's jump into it. This is, like I said, Sakura Angels. If you guys like this, and even if you just watch the first few episodes and you do enjoy it, by all means, I'll go check out some other ones. And leave them in the comments down below. Go check them out if you like this kind of thing enough. So, with that, let's get started. Every night, I have the same dream. Every night, I'm always brought back to this place, without fail. And every morning, I'll wake up, with no memory of this place at all, until the next time I fall asleep. Not a single night has went by without my consciousness being dragged into this abyss. Now, real quick. I'm not the best narrator, let's just say that. Sometimes I'll get hung up on words, but just roll with it. This realm is devoid of light, so much so that I can't even see my hand in front of my face, no matter how desperately I wave it. The concept of sound is just as absent, my steps silent, and my distressed cries swallowed by the bordering darkness as quickly as they had left my mouth. I'm in a bleak, barren wasteland of nothingness. Spending any prolonged amount of time here begins to make me doubt even my own existence. Yet, despite feeling suffocated by striking absence of anything, I know I'm not alone. Something is watching me, stalking me from the shadows. I can't say for sure what it is, but every once in a while I'll catch sight of something from the corner of my view. A pair of burning bright eyes, fixated purely on me. They hate me, despise me. There's an overwhelming sense of animosity radiating from whoever they belong to. I know they want nothing more than to lash out and attack me, but something is holding them back. A force they truly despise. Indivisible chains that bind and restrict them from the one thing that is on their mind. At first, when I began dreaming about this place, the eyes were distant, like glimmering stars. But, with each passing night, the eyes seemed to inch ever closer and shine ever brighter. I think whatever force has been holding them from me is beginning to fade. What will happen when these eyes reach me? I shudder to think. I know it's just a dream, so I shouldn't be afraid. But everything I experience here is so vivid. None of the unusual murky haze that shrouds such dreamlike environments seems to exist here at all. I have perfect clarity. I can feel the stagnant, freezing air all around me, enough to indicate a shiver out of me enough to incite a shiver out of me every once in a while. Since I'm so used to this dream, I know how it'll end. I'll wade through the darkness of what seems like an eternity, never finding anything, until the morning finally comes and pulls me out of this nightmare. At least, that was how it usually ended. Something is different tonight. Those hateful, burning eyes that always kept just out of sight before, I'm suddenly confronted by them. Never before have they been so close. Never before have I stared straight back into them. Their narrowed, piercing gaze roots me to the spot, and a shooting pain surges through me. I can't move. I can't breathe. And then, from out of the darkness, a crooked smile spreads, just as sinister as the eyes. Ugh. My head is killing me. These morning mirages. These morning migraines are the worst. Every morning, without fail, I always wake up to a sensation not unlike my skull being pounded by a jackhammer. Thump. Or I can't really hit my head. It's almost like a heartbeat. I feel like my head is going to split open. It's weird though, because even though the pain is so intense, it never lasts long. In the space it takes me to get up and head for school, the pain is usually reduced to just a dull throb at the back of my skull by then. So, it isn't too much of a hassle in the grand scheme of things. But it certainly isn't a fun way to wake up. I just find it odd how consistent it seems to be. Anyway, enough pondering these weird mysteries. It's time to tackle the day. After a moment of wrestling with my blanket, I swing my leg around and drag myself out of bed. That's how I get out of bed every morning. A quick look at my bedside clock tells me it's still early. Too early. If I had it my way, the world wouldn't start until at least a good way into the afternoon. Heck yeah, man. But sadly, life just isn't that wonderful. Pulling back the curtains to let the light flood into my room, I suppress the urge to let out a hiss, almost blinding myself in the process. Too bright! The rest of my time getting ready is spent fighting with my uniform, a tie becoming all the more problematic to put on when you're half asleep. Oh god, I think I've certainly got my hand stuck in it. Almost choking myself to death is the most pathetic fight ever. I finish putting on the tie, and the rest of my uniform complying peacefully with me. Unable to find a comb, I settle for just flattening my hair down with my hands. Blinking into the mirror, I'm left staring back at someone with messy black hair. It's close enough. Somewhat dressed and somewhat ready, I stumble out of my room, my legs still not fully awake. Uneven steps carrying me dangerously down the stairs, and soon I emerge into the kitchen. I'm greeted by silence. The kitchen is empty. A familiar scene for me. My parents are what you might call workaholics? Basically, they spend more time at their respective jobs than they ever do here. I only ever get to catch them during the evening while we're eating, and then everyone is off to bed, and the cycle repeats. Don't get me wrong, I understand they have to work in order to keep us living comfortably, so I don't hate them for it. It just gets, I don't know, lonely? Oh well, there's no use moping about it. It's been like this for years, so I don't know why I was getting all emotional about it now. The plus side of them not being around is that I quickly had to learn how to cook for myself. It's amazing how fast you can adapt to that sort of stuff when you're when you're starving. I know that feeling. I don't think I have enough time for anything fancy to eat for breakfast, so I'll just settle for toast. And that right there is what I do. I'm just like, fuck it, toast today. Gonna make myself some fancy eggs. Nope, they're gonna be scrambled today. You can never go wrong with toast. Okay, you might be able to go wrong with toast. I have a sudden traumatic. There we go. Flashbacks to when the toaster erupted into flames. Oh my god. Ah, what a day that was. But I've learned from my mistakes now. It won't happen a third time. Having devoured the only slightly charred toast, I sling my bag over my shoulder before starting for the front door. I give the empty house one last look over before opening the front door. It's kind of depressing to have no one say goodbye to. But, again, this has been the same for every weekday morning since forever ago. The sun is shining high in a cloudless sky. Lies, I see clouds up there right now! Quit lying. Birds are chirping overhead. Waves of students are passing by, happily chatting with one another as they make their way to school. It's all so horrible. That's how I feel too, holy shit. I'm not much of a morning person, so I can't even begin to fathom how everyone can be so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed right now. I have an 8 a.m. lab class every Tuesday this semester. Talk about going into an early 8 a.m. class and learning low-level processor programming. That's not fun. Like assembly stuff and even just circuitry, like low-level circuitry. It's not fun. Really, really not fun. I mean, it's taking all of my willpower just to be able to put a foot in front of the other without just crumpling to the ground. I just have to hope that breakfast kicks in and gives me the energy I need before I'm forced to literally drag myself through the school gates. While keeping my head down and my eyes glued to the ground as I soldiered on, I suddenly noticed that the vibrant atmosphere from before is gone. Silence has completely taken over. My step's the only thing making any noise. The air is still. Huh? That's a bit strange. Bringing my head up, I met with an unsettling sight. The street is deserted. No students, no cars, and even the cheerful chirping of the birds is gone. What? I hurry on forward, hoping at least to run into somebody. Anyone. Even the sun's once golden rays seem muted, the world tinged in dreary tones. But there still isn't a cloud in the sky. Okay, it's definitely starting to freak me out. I need to just... The splitting pain shoots through my head, stopping me in my tracks. Like a searing poker being thrust through my skull. A headache? Now? Nothing is making any sense. Desperately trying to keep myself upright as I clutch hand to my head, I stagger forwards. Unlike the headache from before that gradually died down, this one only seems to be getting worse. It won't stop at all. I'm brought to my knees. I can hardly even think straight, my head threatening to explode at any moment. And then, through gritted teeth and a pained expression, I see it. Something that shouldn't exist, yet clearly does, as confirmed by my own terrified eyes. A monster. That's the only word that can come to my scrambled mind. A hulking, grotesque mass of flesh with gnarled fangs and red slitted eyes, seething with hate. The closest thing I can relate it to would be a dog, but no dog I know is 3 times the size of me, its form practically eclipsing the sun. It snorts with flared nostrils, something like steam being exhaled out. Given its tense stance and the fact it's blocking my way, I can only assume it's here for me. But why? What the hell is it? Where did it come from? Why does it want me? 1,000,001 questions race through my mind, but I doubt I'm to get any answers from this thing. There's only one thing I can do when presented with such odds, and that is to... Oh, okay, sorry about that. There's gonna be a weird, like, transition thing there. I got a call I had to take care of. But anyway, so what are we gonna do about this? Stand my ground or flee? How about... Yeah, let's run away. We can't... If this thing's 3 times the size, no, we're running. Yeah. Of course. I would be an idiot to attempt anything else. When confronted with something that defies everything I know about nature, and it has a look that says, I'm gonna eat you. It's basic human instinct to want to run. Not giving the beast any more of my time, I spin on my heel and hurtle myself in the opposite direction. Any fatigue I might have felt earlier is magically gone as I pump my legs frantically. It's amazing what fear can do to pep up your senses. I run as fast as I can, but in my haste, I twist my foot at a bad angle, crumpling into a heap on the floor. Ignoring the nasty scrapes across my knee, I desperately try to heave myself up off the floor, but it's useless. I'm a complete wreck. I can hear the beast rampaging just behind me, having given chase. The fear of impending death is making my limbs useless, my scattered mind unable to give them any clear commands. The only thing I can do is turn my head around to meet my incoming demise, the beast stomping so hard across the ground that cracks spread out with each step. It's over. Right before the beast can connect with me and bring my life to a grisly end, a dazzling, radiant light floods my vision, engulfing both me and the monster. The beast stops in its tracks. A guttural cry. Sure. Escaping it before it vaporizes before my eyes. What the hell just happened? A cheerful voice chirps. A welcome sound after terrors of that thing. Then another voice that's less cheerful. In fact, they sound angry more than anything.